Curious Kidcast, here we go. Ooh, yeah. Questions poppin', minds will blow. Big ideas, they're taking flight. Let's explore, feel the light. Why, what, where, and how? Big answers, we'll find them now. Curious minds, the world will comb. Ask away, let's bring it home.
Hey there, curious minds. This is Andy, and you're listening to the Curious Kidcast, where we explore the awesome wonders of our world together. Today, we're diving into something that might sound a little wild at first. Do plants have feelings? I know, they don't have brains like us, but stick with me because plants are way more aware of what's happening around them than most people think. So get ready to have your minds blown with some plant facts that'll make you look at the green buddies in your backyard or on your windowsill in a totally new way. Let's start with the basics. When we talk about feelings like happiness, sadness, or being super excited about pizza day at school, that's all happening in our brains, right? We've got this amazing network of nerves that send messages back and forth between our brains and bodies. It's like having your own personal text messaging service. If you touch something hot, your nerves send a message. Yikes, that's hot to your brain. And your brain texts back, move your hand now, faster than you can say ouch. Now, plants don't have brains or nervous systems like ours. That's one reason some scientists say plants can't feel the way we do. But what if feeling doesn't always mean having emotions? What if it just means being able to sense what's happening around you and then responding to it? Because when you look at it that way, plants are actually amazing at feeling. Have you ever noticed a plant on a windowsill bending toward the sunlight? It's like the plant is doing yoga, stretching all the way toward the brightest spot in the room. That's because they're actually feeling the light and growing in that direction. They need that sunlight to make food through photosynthesis. Plants have special cells that can sense where light is coming from, and they literally grow toward it to soak up as much energy as possible. It's like they're reaching out for a delicious sunbeam snack. Tasty light rays for breakfast. And it's not just light. Think about vines like ivy. How do they know to climb up walls and trees? They have a sense of touch that guides their growth. When they bump into something, that touch triggers them to wrap themselves around whatever they've found. It's like they're giving the wall a big hug and then pulling themselves up. Hello, wall. You look like you need a good squeeze today. This plant response to touch has a fancy name. Thigmotropism. Try saying that 5 times fast. And speaking of touch, have you ever seen a Venus flytrap in action? Those things are wild, like tiny monster mouths just waiting to snap shut. They have these tiny hairs inside their traps, and when a bug lands on those hairs and triggers them, whoosh! The trap closes super fast. Bam, dinner time for the plant. Imagine if your dinner plate could catch your food for you. But wait, there's more. Plants can actually communicate with each other. It's true, they don't use words like we do, but they send out special chemicals in the air, like signals. These are called volatile organic compounds, or VOCs for short. It's basically plant perfume carrying messages. For example, if a caterpillar starts munching on one plant, that plant can release VOCs into the air, basically shouting a warning to its neighbors, heads up everyone, there's a hungry bug on the loose. And the other plants can actually understand that warning. When they receive those smelly signals, they can start producing chemicals that make themselves taste bad to the caterpillars. Or they might even attract the caterpillar's enemies, like certain kinds of wasps. It's like calling in plant bodyguards. It's a plant neighborhood watch system happening right under our noses. Or I guess I should say, right in our noses, since we're smelling their chemical messages without even knowing it. There's more. Plants can communicate through an underground network too. Scientists call it the Wood Wide Web. Get it? Like World Wide Web, but for trees? That's a science joke for you. This Wood Wide Web is made of fungi that connect plant roots. Plants send signals and share resources through these fungal threads. It's like their own version of the internet, but instead of sharing funny videos, they're sharing food and warnings. Hey, I've got extra water over here if anyone needs some. And get this, research has shown that some plants can actually recognize their siblings. like brother and sister plants that grew from the same parent plant. Or no, they don't have little plant family photos they compare. Scientists believe they recognize each other through chemical signals that their roots release into the soil. They're basically sniffing each other out underground. And what's super cool is that they often don't compete as much for resources like water and nutrients with their siblings as they do with stranger plants. They're nicer to their family. Here, sis, you can have some of my sunlight. We're related after all. Okay, mind officially blown yet? Well, hold on to your hats, because there's one more thing we have to talk about. Plants can hear. I know it sounds like something from a science fiction movie, but it's true. Plants don't have ears like us, but they can sense sound vibrations through the air or even through the ground. For example, some plants can actually react to the sound of caterpillars munching on their leaves. They can hear the caterpillars eating them. Well, in a way. They sense those vibrations, and in response, they start producing chemicals that make their leaves taste bitter to the caterpillars. It's like they're saying, I hear you munching on me, and I'm going to make myself taste like stinky socks so you'll stop. Some flowers can even hear the buzzing of bees. When they sense those bee buzzing vibrations, they actually increase the amount of nectar they produce. Why would they do that? Because bees love nectar. It's like a sweet reward for the bees, encouraging them to visit the flower, which helps the flower get pollinated so it can make more seeds. It's like the flower is putting out a welcome sign for the bees by making itself extra delicious. Come on in, bee friends! I've made some extra sweet stuff just for you. So we've got plants feeling light and touch, talking through smells and underground networks, recognizing family and hearing sounds. They're like little plant superheroes with secret powers. But here's the big question we started with. Does all this sensing and reacting mean they have feelings like we do? Are they secretly happy when the sun shines on them, or sad when they get too dry? Well, as amazing as all these plant senses are, the answer based on what we know now is probably not. Remember, they don't have brains like us to process emotions and feelings. Their reactions are more like automatic responses to keep themselves alive and thriving. Built-in survival mechanisms triggered by the things they sense in their environment. But think about how complex all those responses are. Plants aren't just sitting there doing nothing. They're actively responding to everything around them. That in itself is a form of intelligence. It's just a different kind of intelligence than ours. They're solving problems and adapting to challenges in their own unique, planty way. So maybe it's not about feeling happy or sad. Maybe it's about being super smart about how they live in the world. The biggest takeaway is that plants are way more connected and aware of their surroundings than we often give them credit for. Even without brains like ours, they can still sense and respond to the world in incredibly complex and fascinating ways. Which leads us to one final, mind-blowing thought. If plants can do all this without brains, what other secrets might they be hiding? What other amazing abilities might they have that we haven't even discovered yet? It's pretty exciting to think about. So next time you're walking outside or even just looking at a houseplant, take a moment to really appreciate how incredible these living things are. They might not be chatting with us or sharing their feelings, but they're definitely sensing and responding to the world in ways that are just as amazing. Maybe even more amazing. If you enjoyed this episode of the Curious Kidcast, don't forget to review, share, and subscribe. And hey, if you have any questions about plants or any other curious topics you'd like me to explore, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. This is Andy from the Curious Kidcast, where curiosity leads to discovery. Stay curious, everyone.
Hey, let your